Yo, what's up, Uncle Zay?
Oh, chillin'. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly. It sounds like you're calling all the pigeons in your neighborhood to roost on your stoop. Have you ever stood?
Is that a pigeon purr? A coo?
The caw? No, that's like a
No. I want to hear the one you did. You just did one that was really good.
So if you've ever been like
You're
in
like,
a city or a park where there's
Yeah.
tons of pigeons and somebody stomps, if you're with a kid, they love to do that, and they all just go. It's a crazy sound. It's
Pigeons
actually
kind of
kind of
purr.
frightening. Yeah, they do, and
I
they
like how
like
pigeons purr.
move their neck like dinosaurs.
Yeah. You know, birds have a lot more in common with dinosaurs than reptiles.
I saw Jurassic Park.
Yeah. Did you read it?
No, I haven't.
Terrific book. You like Michael Crichton, though, right?
I've only read one book.
Which
I
one?
read, I think it was his last one, Next, Next. It's about like future technology. It's very good.
That's cool. I've
heard Jurassic
haven't read
Park's
that
very
one.
good.
Jurassic Park's great. Lost World is great. I'm a big Michael Crichton fan. Not a big Michael Crichton fan. I haven't read everything he's written, but I like some of the books a lot. Timeline's fun. Timeline's about some guys and gals going back to the Middle Ages. Kind of puts certain things in perspective.
And it's a big one, right? It's a long one.
That one's not as long.
Not as
There
long.
are some long ones. Yeah.
I remember somebody in my high school reading those books. I've already told this story, but it reminds me. I watched that movie with my kid, and everybody remembers the line where, what's his name? Jeff Goldblum walks up to that pile of rhinoceros dung.
Yeah.
That's one big pile of shit.
You know who's a great actor, John?
Who?
Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, I mean,
No?
I'm not sure. I'm just not sure. Like, I know they say all actors are crazy or whatever, but he just seems like he's being himself all the time.
think,
he's an
though-
eccentric weirdo. Like, that's
I think
what
that's fair. No, I don't think he's being himself all the time, though. Like, did you see shoot, what's it called?
The Fly, where he becomes a fly.
No.
David
Honey, I
Cronenberg.
Shrunk the Kids.
Was he in
That's
that?
the other. No. That's another guy that kind of looks like Jeff Goldblum. What's his name?
Who? Jeff Goldblum.
No.
In
it's
Honey,
not
I
Jeff
Shrunk
Goldblum.
I know it's not him, but who in that movie looks like Jeff Goldblum?
No, he doesn't even look like him. He just reminds me of him. It doesn't matter.
What is that?
cares?
Actually,
Who
you know the
cares who's in
dad
that
from
movie?
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. You know the
Yeah,
dad?
that guy. Yeah, the
The
dark
kind of
hair guy.
dorky.
Yeah,
he's like a dorky.
Who is
looking
that guy? He was a
Yeah.
huge movie star for a while.
For like a minute, and you know what he did? He was like, "Screw this, Hollywood sucks." He's a Canadian, right? So after like Honey, I blew up the
John.
kids.
You don't know his name,
I don't know his name.
but you know his life story.
Yeah, because I watched Honey, I Shrunk the Kids somewhere recently, and I was like, "Who is that guy?" He was in all these movies when I
He
was
was
a
a
kid.
massive
He was massive
90s movie star.
for like 5 years. So I went and read about him, and yeah, the
Mm-hmm.
guy was in a bunch of movies. He was Canadian. I think he did some like Canadian improv. Was in some movies, made a ton of money, and was like, "Hollywood sucks. I'm out of here." And now he's
Wow.
He's like a maple tree farmer in Canada.
It's kind of smart.
Yeah, dude.
Take
he
the
ended
money
on a
and
high
run,
note.
baby. Oh, because he was not going to last long. I think we
I
can
mean-
all be very sure of that.
I doubt it.
He was going to go away with the 90s blockbuster, like the way of the dino.
Yeah, I mean, there's
You
only
know that
so
90s
many.
family comedy thing that like I
Oh,
feel like
yeah.
was just huge, and I don't. Are they still making those?
I guess
Like we
of a
watched Hocus
type.
Pocus the other night.
Yeah.
I mean, do they make that movie anymore?
I don't. Well, it will be a Netflix show instead, right? Like it's Sabrina the
Stranger
Teenage
Things.
Witch.
Oh,
Yeah, Stranger
right,
Things.
Right, yeah.
Speaking of Netflix, you know what I watched last night? I watched like 5 episodes. Fell asleep watching it, not because it's bad. I watched Ozarks. Have you seen this?
Oh, is it good? I keep hearing some people say it's amazing and some people saying it's horrible. So I really don't know who to believe.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not horrible. I don't know how you'd come to that conclusion, but
Well,
yeah,
not
I could
horrible,
see somebody.
but just bad.
I could see somebody saying it's not great, or I could see somebody saying it's like a Breaking Bad ripoff. And this,
Interesting.
it's very, I mean, it's a similar idea. Family that's like, doesn't seem like they should be involved in crime is involved with very bad criminals.
Right. Like
But
bloodline.
But instead of this guy, yeah, exactly. Instead of this guy being a like high school teacher, he's a small business guy. So he's walking around telling his kids like, you need to learn the value of money while he's laundering tens of millions of dollars for a drug cartel, that kind of stuff.
Good for him.
Anyway, yeah, I don't think
Take
it's
the money and
bad.
run.
I don't think it's bad, but it's interesting.
Yeah. I just like to say for the NSA guys that are still listening, I was kidding when I said good for him, take the money and run. I don't support drug cartels. I don't think people should do unethical, illegal things in order to make money. Just for the record, I just feel like I needed to say that. Don't do drugs, guys.
It's tough, yeah. We're certainly not advocating for the use of drugs, but
no, I know you're not. I'm just sort of making a PSA out of it.
You got to make a PSA. Remember those G.I. Joe PSAs that dude made way back in the day before, definitely before Instagram, Vine.
What is it? Pork chop sandwiches.
Exactly.
That
How did
one?
those even get distributed? I saw those back before YouTube.
Good. Oh, dude, probably some website like MySpace or something. Like an early website that like shared content. Well, John, I'm trying to think what we should talk. Oh, today, John. All right. I have an update. About rollers. Do you know what it is? Can you guess? I'm not going to tell you if it's good or bad. I'm not going to tell you what it might be related to. I just want you to guess what it might be.
You want me to guess? Okay, I am going to guess. I'm going to guess that you guys got a lead actor. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm going to guess.
That's your whole guess?
That's it. You nailed somebody down. You got the guy. No.
Wrong. He passed.
Really?
Yep, the guy I wanted passed.
Oh, tell us about this. Tell us the guy. Can you tell us the guy now?
Nah, I don't think I should.
Okay, you shouldn't tell us. Now tell us how this works. Did you send him the weed bag?
So I was... No. See, the weed bag, the edible arrangement was for his agent.
Yeah.
And I did not send an edible arrangement.
Well, that's why you did. No wonder he passed.
No. But
he's doing my Cats movie because I sent him the weed.
Oh, the Cats movie? Oh, man. I'm always getting beat out for cat movies.
Well, got to bring your A game with the gifts, buddy.
No, I'm a little bummed, actually. I think... So what happened is basically his agent got him the materials, the script, the deck, a letter that I wrote kind of explaining like why I specifically wanted him to do it and, just sort of putting out some context. And I think it took 3-4 days, which is nice. I got to give him props. He at least got back to me quickly. But he just said he didn't connect with the character. He felt like it just wasn't for him. And which is a bummer because I kind of think this is the perfect role for him. Everyone I've talked to thinks the same thing, but he just wasn't feeling it. So basically what happens is that
can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Sorry to back up, but how does he relay this information to you?
So it's all through his agent, his representative.
Okay, so he calls you or emails you?
The agent, in this particular case, my producer Tara has a relationship with this guy's agent. And so she sent it through the agent. The agent sent it to this guy. This guy looked at the stuff, decided he didn't want to do it, told his agent it's a pass, gave him like a reason or whatever. And then his agent emailed Tara, my producer, and said, hey, this guy passed. I'm actually kind of bummed because I think it'd be great. But basically it's one of those things where like, so that was encouraging. I mean, the agent at least took the project seriously and was, also agreed that maybe it could actually be really good. But for some reason, this guy just wasn't feeling it.
So what's next? Or, well, pause there. Okay, so was that the news? That's the news.
Yeah, that's the news. Now I'm back to the drawing board. I mean, there are lots of other people that I'm still excited about talking to. But yeah, I was just kind of bummed because this guy just kind of he was one of the first people where I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I think this is it. But I think there's a couple other people that I'm thinking of that I feel like I have the same feeling about, you know? I just have to go to them.
Does this so if I'm you, this would rattle me to some extent because it would be it's like the first, you know, it's some real feedback. I would be like not freaking out, but I would be like, oof, you know, I would take it seriously. How do you take this?
Yeah, I'm bummed. You know, I'm bummed. I mean, I've been to. There are a couple like bigger actors that have the script as well that haven't passed or because they're like on set, you know, so they haven't even looked at it yet. Yeah. So I'm still, you know, but yeah, I mean, it sucks. It sucks because, because it's being rejected. You know,
right.
it feels very personal.
But this is par for the course, right?
Oh,
it's
for sure, for sure. No,
this is going to happen 20 times and then one time.
do. Yeah, there is part of me though that still is like, it's funny. It's like if I had made a few movies already, I think I would track him down, you know, and be like, dude, I think you're making a big mistake. Like, I think we could actually do something really special together. And I think you're just maybe not reading it properly. Or I think maybe you're not just seeing what I'm seeing. Like, let's at least talk before you say no.
Right. I think you might have missed the boat by not taking my suggestion on the gift, but it's not all is not lost. You know, if you're going to make a hey, rethink this move kind of pitch, you got to go to his house in a trench coat. You got to hold up a boombox, play the song that you wrote for him, and have with you, of course, now the correct gift to give him.
The edible arrangement.
Yeah, give him the edible arrangement. Boom. The guy's going to run down the stairs and embrace you.
You know,
you got to dazzle him. I watched all those movies. There's Say Anything and there's Better Off Dead. Did you ever see that?
Yes.
It's pretty good. But
have you ever seen The Sure Thing?
No.
It's one of Rob Reiner's first movies. It's early John Cusack. And, it's so good. It's a road trip rom-com, basically. Kind of like When Harry Met Sally or something like that. Like, you know, an unlikely college pair traveling across the country. I don't know that it's quite as good as... I feel like When Harry Met Sally was Rob... You know, good old Rob, basically, Bob, as I like to call him sometimes, Bob basically saying, yo, I got this. I'm going to do it even better now. But The Sure Thing is also quite good. John Cusack is just absolutely marvelous in those types of roles. He's incredible.
What's he up to? What's he doing right now?
That's a good question. I don't know. You want to look him up?
Yeah. But we still haven't watched Mulholland Drive. And in Mulholland Drive, the whole movie is shining a light on how crazy Hollywood is.
Yep.
And in it, there is this really sinister sort of up-and-coming director who's filming this girl. And I read in an interview that David Lynch said it was Steven Soderbergh. He modeled it after Steven Soderbergh.
Wow. Is that because of Sex, Lies, and Videotape?
I don't know. I guess.
You know what I watched, John? I also recently watched... Oh, I already told you. I watched Hocus Pocus. Have you seen that?
No.
You've never seen Hocus Pocus?
No. You know, I grew up in a Christian house, and...
it is pretty witchy.
We watched Salty the Songbook.
Oh, I remember Salty the Songbook.
Yeah.
Wow.
Big giant... He was a giant hymnal that walked
around
How would you like... kids.
We're gonna
How
link
hot
to
was that guy in that
highlights.
80-pound suit?
Dude, so hot. Oh my gosh, what a bad show.
That guy and the guy in there was like just some actor, you know, who showed up for the role.
For sure. And then do you remember the donut show?
The donut show.
There was some other donut show. If someone remembers what that is, write in. There was a
Carmen.
donut show.
Did you ever see Carmen?
Oh yeah, I saw Carmen. I'm surprised you were able to watch that.
Yeah, well, there is a Carmen where Carmen was a Christian singer.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Carmen Sandiego.
Oh no, we did watch that. But Carmen was this like Christian like stadium rock guy.
Interesting.
And he had these music videos like back before music videos were really that popular. He was making these, and he made this one where he.
John, are you sure you just didn't know that they were popular because you didn't have MTV at home?
MT what?
Yeah. MT who?
So he made this one where he like, in the name of Jesus, confronts a witch, you know, in her house.
Oh baby.
Or like a warlock or something. Dude, it scared the crap out of me when I was a kid. because we had all kinds of
so
spooky
it's not like an
neighbors.
exorcism or something. It's like a straight up battle.
No, he just goes in there with with tight jeans on, and like penny loafers and a vest.
Wow.
And he goes in there with his curly hair and confronts her with the Bible.
Sounds ill-equipped.
And he wins.
Oh, he wins.
Of
wow.
course. Of course.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's how that would really go, but good for him.
What's Christmas? I mean, not Christmas. What's Halloween in LA like?
Halloween in LA. Oh man, it was bumping. Yeah, I went trick or treating with my friend's kid. We all went, and it was a hoot. He's only 2.5, so that was hilarious. He could barely muster the courage to say trick or treat, but he started getting
costume?
pretty into it. He was a baby fighter pilot. They had this vintage jumpsuit with a bomber jacket that are super cool. They're like 30 years old. Somebody gave them to him from, somebody else had them from somebody who was in the Air Force like a long time ago or something. And it was a pretty ridiculous costume. I was impressed. I didn't dress up as anything.
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh, but I did go to a karaoke Halloween party, and I dressed up as Freddie Mercury, which was fun.
Oh yeah, the guy from what's that
Queen
hacking show? What was that hacking show?
The hacking show?
Yeah, dude, it was.
Mr. Robot.
Mr. Robot. The guy from Mr. Robot is playing Freddie Mercury in a new movie, right?
Yeah, apparently it's quite good.
The trailer looks good.
That's what people are saying. Freddie Mercury is an important figure in popular culture and a monumental figure in rock and roll.
I loved classic rock growing up, and I remember the first time I heard Queen, and it knocked my socks off, dude.
I mean, Bohemian Rhapsody is one of those songs that it never gets old. Like Stairway to Heaven, fine. Pantheon, rock classic, fine. But there's just so many Zeppelin songs that I like way better. But man, Bohemian Rhapsody is possibly one of the top 10 greatest songs of all time.
When I was a kid, I've already just sort of alluded to my upbringing, but when I was like 15, Jimmy Page from Led Zeppelin came to Philadelphia, and me and my friend went to go see him, and my dad took us, right?
Yep.
So we're sitting in the car, like, waiting to get out of this concert, and my dad's already, like, I don't think he loves the idea that I'm going in there,
Yep.
Carmen, Salty, etc. You get the idea.
Exactly.
So we're waiting in the car, and, like, we're about to go. And my dad's
You're going to come
okay.
out like a hippie freak doing drugs.
I'll be drugged up.
I'll
be I'll be terrible. So we're sitting in the car, and my dad is, like, giving us a pep talk about, like, being careful, staying safe, and on the radio. They're like, he's got, local radio turned on or whatever, and they're like, listen to our interview earlier today with Jimmy Page. And the first question they asked him, when my dad's sitting in the car telling us, like, boys, you come from Christian homes and they're like, Jimmy, what do you think you've done more, played Stairway to Heaven or jerked off? And Jimmy Page is like, he's a classy guy. And
that's like not even a good question.
It's not. It's a total, like, shock jock question. So Jimmy Page, like, he's a classy guy, so he demurred, and he's like, oh, I played the song a lot, whatever. But my dad, his, like, eyes popped out of his head,
Oh, man. I mean, you got Jimmy Page on your shitty Philadelphia morning show. The least you can do is ask him a good question.
Ask him if he killed John Bonham with witchcraft. That's what I would have asked him. That's what I was shouting from my
theory?
seat. It's the idea has been floated
because he's like Bob won't let me out of the band. I got to break us up somehow. He called Robert Plant Bob. Everyone's name is Bob.
That theory has been floated because the night before John Bonham died, there was like white smoke coming out of Jimmy Page's chimney at what was the studio called, Langley Grange or whatever.
Oh my word!
It's total nonsense, but
that's absolute bonkers nonsense. But I think
the real reason he died was not witchcraft, but the like 4 bottles of vodka he drank.
I was gonna say like the 16 gallons of pure liquor that he probably consumed 10 minutes before his death.
Yeah, if you watch the song remains the same. It's a great like video concert they did at Madison Square Garden. The guy is just pounding hooch the entire time, but playing phenomenally.
Oh,
you
of
know?
course. How does he, I thought you were going to say pounding his drums, because how does he not just put holes in the drum heads
Yeah.
1/3 of the way through every single show? I'm surprised he doesn't have a drum roadie who's just constantly like, like the jockeys when they're running on like a wet track, they got to like pull like all the different layers of goggles off. I'm surprised that they don't just have like a drum roadie who's just constantly cycling out his toms, because
Like
those
replacing a NASCAR tire.
Exactly. He's got like 6 drum roadies. Like,
Yeah.
and then they're like pulling the like as he's like doing like an epic drum roll like over on the side, they're like taking the drum heads off of like the bass drum or whatever.
Totally.
I'm surprised he doesn't do that.
Well, now he's playing drums in heaven.
Do 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 do. I want to be a drummer, but you play some drums, right, John?
I do, yeah. I got into it because of Zeppelin, bro, back in the day when I was a kid.
Oh, we just can't stop talking about Zepp.
Yeah, Hammer of the Gods is a great book about Led Zeppelin.
I should read that. I've been thinking a lot about them actually, because I've been writing more music lately, as I mentioned. I kind of haven't written much music. I've written some sort of joke songs,
Yeah.
I've written
We've all
some
done
songs
that.
of course, but I haven't like actually kind of put myself out there before. It's kind of nerve-wracking.
Yeah, I mean that's a scary one. Singing,
Yeah.
I've never ever wanted to sing in public. It's too intimate, man. It's like
It's cringy,
Yeah,
like when
it
you
can
hear
be-
someone do it, I'm surprised anyone still listens after I play and sing, because I hate listening to people sing sometimes, especially if they're not pros. I'm like, what if they mess up?
it's really hard. When you
What
watch
if their voice cracks?
when you watch a movie, part of the idea is the suspension of disbelief. It's really hard. Like that's my problem with AI with CGI in movies, is that your brain is constantly being reminded that it's watching something fake, right?
Yep.
But you have the same problem when you watch people do stuff. It's really hard to appreciate what they're doing as like a raw thing, and not all of the shit that you know about them and your like
Yes.
preconceived notions, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially if they're troubled,
If they're it's just anything. It's like, I know what you sound like when you're not singing, or I know what you're like when you're not pretending to do this or that. You know what I mean? It's not a
Right.
good or a bad thing. It's just weird to see somebody performing.
Probably a number of people have hung out with Sufjan Stevens, and he
Right.
was kind of drunk and like a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably happened. He can't pop, but in my head, he's just this kind of melancholy weirdo,
Right. And it would like sort of take you out of it if you did spend a fun night with like Elliott Smith 10 years ago,
Yeah, exactly. But at the same time, that's part of what's so fun about it. Like they're playing a character basically.
Right. Well, now that has gone to an absolute extreme. Like maybe I shouldn't speak because I'm not positive about this, but like, can you get famous by just releasing music now? Like if you
Or do you
did
have
not
to
do
be like a
any-
star?
Yeah, you got to be like on Instagram, on Facebook, on social media.
I do. Yeah, I don't know.
Trying
I mean,
to get on TV, you have to have like a whole personality package.
what about this whole SoundCloud thing? Those guys probably aren't
Yeah.
touring, are they?
Well, the idea though, like for the SoundCloud rappers, is that you start on SoundCloud, you get some notoriety, and then you go tour like crazy.
you get signed to a major, and then
You tour. Because apparently
makes
that's how you
sense.
make money now.
Yeah,
Only
yeah.
by touring.
Yeah, basically, you really don't make money on music. The music you release is basically an advertisement for your tour.
I was in a band when I was a kid, and
Yep.
there were in the early days of the internet, in the Napster era, they had these very, very early prototypes music sites where you could sell songs, kind of like SoundCloud, but like you wouldn't
Like
sell them,
CD
you'd get a
Baby type
cut.
thing.
I forget what they were called, but like I set up an account, and we were gonna put our songs up. Like we didn't have songs, we had nothing recorded. It was like,
But you needed the distribution channels worked out before you even
just in
started
case,
writing.
just in case. When we were
right.
like 14, we had to quickly get out some music. So I set up one of these sites with our name on it, and I put up a sample song. And I had no tracks that we had made because we had no tracks. So I put up like a Rush song or a Led Zeppelin song.
Oh, jeez.
And it was not, I didn't do it because I never promoted the site. It was not intentional. I wasn't trying to deceive anybody. It was like literally a placeholder.
Right.
But about like 6 months later, I got a check in the mail from this site for like a 16th of a cent because like 4 people had clicked on this link. They actually sent me like one check. And I'm sure all of those clicks were probably me like, oh, wow, look at this. This actually works.
Yeah. You're like, let me listen to it again just to make sure that it's not
Right.
That's very funny. Actually, that speaking of all of this, probably one of the most exciting updates right now with rollers is the music component. Because, you were joking about what do music supervisors do, and you were giving Rylan a hard time.
Yeah, that's a really generous way to put what I actually did.
Yeah, you were just shredding. Yeah, you were shredding him. Just shredding him.
I apologize.
Rylan, deal with it.
He just took his headphones off and said, "Sorry, what?"
He's like, yeah. No, but that's been really good. So basically, one of the things Rylan's been doing is he connected me with this super talented composer named Dan. And Dan is currently writing a bunch of music, which is crazy exciting because we're literally just like, I'm giving him moments in the script and I'm like, okay, this is what's going on. Almost like I would with an actor. I'm like, this is what's going on. And basically, and he just comes up with ideas. And he's a professional songwriter, which is cool, 'cause
how does he compose this? Like on a piano or?
He's kind of a guitar and bass guy.
Okay, so
but I don't know. But he plays everything. I mean, I don't know exactly what. He's a professional guitar and bass player, but I think he probably plays piano very proficiently. So I don't know exactly what his composition method is. We'll have him on one day, but it's been cool because there's just one. So quick backstory. Rufus is in a band. In the movie,
this is a character in the movie.
The main character was in a band, and the whole movie is about music, and so music obviously is a very important component. But Rufus was in a band, and so and we hear some of that music, and so I'm at the point where I'm trying to decide what is Rufus's band. Like it can't just be some existing band; it's got to be some really sick custom vibes that capture who Rufus is.
You're trying to pull one of these indie movie stunts where you have like a hit new record to go with your movie. Like,
hey,
what was that? What were those
I wouldn't
Scottish
turn
loners?
It down, baby. Oh, like once.
Yeah, with those Irish
baby.
loners
John,
crying.
If I could make Once, my career would be set. I would love to make Once. He made a movie called Sing Street that's actually really good. Also a music movie. He's just making some Irish movies, He's just doing his Irish thing. Just cute Irish movies.
That's cool. If that guy were my friend and I knew him, I'd be so proud of him.
You would be so proud of him, John.
I'm not going to take a dump on the guy. That's great. I didn't love that movie.
I didn't even. You know what? Can I tell you a secret, John?
Yeah, I know the secret.
What is it?
You didn't see it because
of course I didn't see it, John. We never see the movies that we talk about. It's a rule.
You didn't see it, did you?
I did see Sing Street, which was good, but no, I never saw Once. People were talking about it too much.
Yeah, exactly.
Your freaking sister-in-law was like constantly singing it, and I mean, it was just too much.
They happened to go to Ireland. It's one of those magical moments, where like you're gonna go to some place that most people haven't gone, and also it's a cultural phenomenon
at the same time.
Yeah. So that's cool.
I get it. No, it was fun. No, but
it was too much. Whenever I go to Jersey and Bruce
Springsteen's
on the radio.
Yeah, you're like, what? And you're like, oh yeah, this is totally not that crazy, but what? Yeah, no, but so it's fun because I do want it to be like that. I want it to be a musical heavy movie, a musically focused movie, and I want the soundtrack to be baller. Some of it is going to be licensed. So we're going to get music from existing artists at times, which is part of what Rylan is doing, is kind of negotiating with the labels and helping me think through it. But I want to make a lot of it original. And I think it could be really fun. So my thought is, tell me what you think of this, John. What I would really love to do is basically, when the movie comes out, also release several things. One, an EP that is basically Rufus's band, like an EP that they would have put out with cool album art, and like really create like a mythology, almost like Spinal Tap. Because, I listen to the record I listen to the Black album from Spinal Tap all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's actually really good. No, not all the time, but from time to time, it's great.
I'm a huge Harry Shearer fan.
Yeah.
Who's in it? I really like Harry Shearer, but
plays the bass.
And I've seen Spinal Tap, but I've not listened to it.
Go to it on Spotify, John. You will have a hoot. Some of those songs, Big Bottoms. Big Bottoms.
Dude,
Big Bottoms. Talk about mud flaps. She's got them. Yeah, there's so much good stuff, John.
Have you ever heard
Bitch School?
The song by AC/DC called It's All About like balls, and the whole thing is a double entendre.
No.
Have you ever heard the song?
No.
Oh my gosh.
It's almost now.
I heard it as a kid on like
word.
A Philly rock station, and I could not believe it. The entire thing is it's all about like big bouncing balls and stuff, and
wow,
it's kind of nuts.
That sounds like a little much.
I can't believe they play it on the radio, and it's not even really a double entendre. Like occasionally he refers to the fact that balls could mean either testicles or like an event, like
it's kind of more like a 20% entendre.
Yeah, it's not really an entendre. It's just right out there. Anyway, it's an interesting song. We'll put a link to it.
There's some Stonehenge, John. I'm telling you, look up Spinal Tap. But the idea though, okay, so we release an EP for Rufus's band, which could be really fun if it's just like 4 or 5 baller songs that are super custom and just sort of create.
They're gonna have to like back this up to some extent, or maybe they won't. But like, it would be sick if they could back it up, dude. You got to get a real. All the actors have to actually play instruments, and they got to.
That's part of the reason it's hard to find a Rufus, bro.
Hey guys, this is gonna take the next like 2 or 3 decades of your life if you sign on to this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Are you willing to tour as this band that I invented?
Yes, exactly. And they're gonna be like, nope. But no, that's why it's hard to find Rufus though, because there's a lot of things that this Rufus has to do, But anyway, so I want to release the EP, okay? Then I will release the overall kind of movie official soundtrack, which will include some of those songs, but will also just kind of include like the score and other songs that we license, Then I also think it'd be really fun to have each actor make a playlist that their character would make if they were making a mixtape. So Rufus makes a mixtape like Rufus's favorite songs, and I would work with them basically be like, what are Rufus's 15 songs that would go in this mixtape? And then Jane, the other character, and kind of release like this whole set of Spotify playlists that are all going to be totally different because they'll all have slightly different taste and they're all different people. But I think that could be kind of fun because I remember, I don't know, I just love when movies kind of build out like the mythology of the characters a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I feel 2 ways about it. Like sometimes movies that advertise in kind of unusual ways. Like I remember Requiem for a Dream. Remember that movie, Darren Aronofsky? Oh yeah,
classic.
When that came out, they made a very unusual website to go with the movie, and it was like really trippy. And when you clicked on stuff, like at first it appeared fine. It actually, the website followed.
See, but this probably would have been back when websites were
brand new.
A pain in the ass. I bet it took like 2 hours to load that thing.
It was crazy, and it was super interactive, and like the longer you were on the page, like the wackier stuff would get. And if you like clicked on the mom's face, like all these JavaScript screens would pop up and stuff. It was nuts, and it kind of like gave you this really eerie feeling like when you watch that movie.
Yeah. That movie,
and
intense.
I think that's really cool, and I think it would be cool if you could find some sort of unusual marketing ways to get the movie in front of people. Like
that's what I'm hoping,
because band is a
right, because that's what I'm hoping is like it's a movie about music. There aren't a lot of indie movies that are sort of soundtrack movies. That's not as common with indie movies. I know like Once has done it, but it's surprisingly partly because it's a pain, and so usually people just end up having a score because you hire one composer, they score the whole thing. You don't have to worry about licensing, all that kind of stuff. And I think it'd be really fun if Rufus's band, if their EP is actually a rock solid 5-song EP where people listen to it and they're like, dang, I actually kind of wish this band was real. That would be.
Why don't you go find
to
a
me
real
that would
band
be
of people that can act?
I know. I've thought
How
about
many
it.
bands are in LA? There's tens
There's a
of
million. No,
thousands.
what I'm trying to do is find an actor who has musical skills, because I do think at the end of the day, that is the priority. Like it needs to be an actor who can play, and maybe an actor who's in a band. But I don't want to just find a guy who's in a band who happens to sort of kind of be an actor, because the real
but I
heavy
see there's a
lifting.
lot of, like,
The real heavy
performance
lifting
overlap.
is perform. Yeah, see, but like Rufus doesn't have to perform on screen very much. It's more like he puts a record on and we hear the music that way. He does perform on screen a little bit. But ultimately it is more a matter of, the real heavy lifting is in the acting performances versus the music. Mm-hmm. The music is kind of more like a soundtrack. So in that way, it's not like a musical the same way that something like Once is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got you.
But anyway, so I think that could be really fun, and I think it would be such a huge success if it was kind of like, oh yeah, this is like actually just kind of a good album, and I sort of wish this band was touring, because I might go see them. That would, to me, that's gonna be hard, but man, that would be cool if we could kind of get there.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I'm
back
working
to the
with Dan
drawing
on
board.
it. Yeah, no, so I'm working with Dan on it, and he wrote 3 songs over the past couple weeks that are sort of demos. And so I don't know exactly what his composing process is, but he sent me, 3 pretty cool, like pretty well produced. And, he was like, oh, they're super rough. They're super rough. And I was listening to it. I was like, I don't know, dude. This is like kind of a good song. Kind of just sounds like a real song. Like which was exciting, because I was like, oh, shoot, this guy really knows what he's doing. He's not some.
A lot of talented people out there.
He's not some hacky guy. He's a real dude. He's a dude.
Did you play for the music supervisor? What did he think?
Oh, he loves it. Well, yeah, like all of it has a long way to go in terms of being there,
Right.
But no, the music supervisor is the guy that brought me to him, so he definitely trusts him. It was just cool because, like, I sometimes I going into the meeting, I was kind of like, okay, I had some thoughts about the songs, and I was like, this guy can produce, this guy can write songs. These aren't quite there, and I had one kind of specific note that I was going to give him. I had a lot of very specific notes. I had one broader note that I was going to give him. And it was kind of like, yo, I need these songs to have a little more stank on them, and they need to be a little more stanky. Like right now, they're just a little bit too, I don't want to say generic, but like a little bit too mainstream. And I
Too
think
much
Rufus,
theremin in them.
thankfully there's no theremin, but no, I was just like, it's sort of like Coldplay, for example. Some of their songs are great, but they don't have a whole lot of stank on them.
True.
I kind of want Rufus's band in my mind has some serious grit and some stank, and I was like, all right, Dan's either gonna get that, I'm gonna say that and he's gonna get it, or I'm gonna say it and he's gonna be like, what do you? I thought these do have some stank on it, and then I was gonna be like, oh shit, we're never good. This is not gonna work, But he immediately got it, totally got it. Pointed out all these exact ways that he like was already kind of planning on doing that over the next few days, but like wanted to get me in, or and I was like, oh sweet, like his head's already there. That's awesome,
Yeah.
So that was really encouraging. But yeah, I was like singing one of the songs afterwards. It was stuck in my head, which is a great sign.
It's some stinky music. I was listening to James Brown, some early
Ooh,
James Brown.
James Brown is stanky.
That stuff is crazy.
Oh,
And
he's
everybody-
stanky.
Everybody's sort of familiar with him. Like, you're sort of familiar with him, but man, you go back and like listen to some of those
yeah.
songs. Holy cow.
Especially if you just watch that guy live. That guy, holy smokes. That guy was an entertainer to the 29th degree. He just gets in a groove, his band, they just get in a groove, and all of a sudden I mean, it's not like typical pop songs, you know, like it's not just like verse, chorus, bridge, verse, bridge, chorus. It's just like sometimes he's just like, no, we're staying on this moment for like 5 minutes, and it's just gonna get deeper, and you're just gonna want to dance even more than you already do. It's kind of great. Funk,
You know, there's an ideal. I think
funk
like
soul.
Nietzsche pointed out that there's like this dichotomy between the Apollonian and the Dionysian like spirits, you know, the spirit of like reason and ration, and the spirit of like, you know, excess, and he totally personifies that. And another guy that does is Jim Morrison too, from the Doors. Like,
What do you think of the Doors?
I liked him a lot when I was a kid. I haven't listened to it in a long time. And it doesn't resonate with me like that, getting out of your head, and like it's a little too trippy for me now.
Yeah, the Doors are a little too much hippie and a little too little substance for me.
There's an album they made after he died called American Prayer, where they take his poetry and
right.
they put Doors music, some new stuff, some old stuff, over top of Jim Morrison reading his poem, his like actual poetry, and it's pretty good. It's actually it's my favorite Doors album. It's kind of nuts and unusual, and it's a pretty good one. But
That's
you know,
cool.
I don't resonate with that like burn everything down, you know, like Rage Till You Die. I don't resonate with that anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get it. I like guys like John Prine. You ever listen to John Prine?
You know, I just heard about him recently.
Me too. I didn't know who he was, but like that dude has been making music for a long time.
Where did we hear about him? On that Radiolab podcast where the girl
I don't
was
know,
talking
but-
about?
Dude, he wrote a song called "I Have Found My Love Today."
Yeah.
I'm gonna see if I can remember it.
I know exactly where we both just heard of John Prine, Radiolab.
I didn't hear him on Radiolab. What happened on Radiolab?
They're doing a 3-part series on sexual consent.
Okay.
Radiolab is. And the
Good.
very
Good for them.
beginning of the first episode is a girl talking about being at a John Prine concert. And she talked about how great he is and how he's been making music forever. And I had never heard of him, so I looked him up.
Wait, what does he have to do with consent?
Some guy at the concert was hitting on her.
Oh.
So he was an older guy.
Who goes to a John Prine concert to prey on young women? That's so
Well,
weird.
it's like 75-year-old guys, and I think she's like in her late 20s. She was almost certainly the only chick under 40 there. Like, I don't know. I don't know what the guy did to her, but I wouldn't be surprised that a guy would like try to hit on a young girl there, right? So, not a young girl, but comparatively young girl. And he wasn't like aggressive or anything. That's not the point of the story. But she ends up talking to him later, asking him like, "Hey, were you actually trying to hit on me?" But that's how the episode starts, is her at a John Prine concert.
I'm listening.
That's it. Play the song.
All right, I think I got it. I've met my love today. I've met my love today. Doesn't really matter what we have to say. I've met my love today. I've been holding on for you. Anyway, that's all. It's a good song.
How'd you hear about him?
I don't know.
You must have listened to that episode in your sleep.
I'm wondering if it was kind of like a Spotify Discover type situation, because I do a lot of that.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
John, I want you to be super honest right now. Okay, I need your honest feedback.
Yep.
Because we were just talking about how it's so cringy when people sing. What was your? I want you to dig deep, John. What was your actual reaction when I started singing?
Okay.
Be honest. Be honest.
Okay, so as soon as you said, "I'm going to play this song,"
You were like,
my
"Ooh."
first thought, my first thought was, "Oh, thank God." So as soon as you started, I pushed mute on the microphone. I stood up and I urinated into a empty bottle. But I kept my headphones on, and I thought, you know what? It's quite good. I really thought that. Well, I was urinating into an empty Diet Coke can bottle. I should say. I'm
Oh,
not an animal.
John, that makes me so happy.
Yeah, but I thought it was good.
Okay, all right.
I really did.
Good enough to be the backing track for your piss.
You know what I did think though, while I was relieving myself, I thought, you know what Zay's gonna do? He's gonna not find an actor that he likes, and he's gonna cast himself in the lead role. He's auditioning himself to the 7 people listening to this podcast right now. Am I off base?
Well, John, I mean, ooh, I hope so. But also, I wouldn't underestimate my own narcissism either, you know?
That's not what I mean.
No.
I mean, but it's like,
I mean, here's the thing, John. I really, 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 really don't want to play Rufus. I think I could, but I don't think I would make the movie that I want to make if I was trying to be Rufus and direct it. And therefore, I just don't think I'd do it, you know?
Jason Bateman directs Ozark. And he
Yeah.
acts in it. He's pretty good.
Well, I
Just
think
as
if
a side note, not as a comparison.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think I would be as good as Rufus as a lot of people. I think I could do a serviceable job. You know, I think I could not ruin the movie. But I don't think I would do it as well as some people. And more specifically, I think part of the reason, or Bradley Cooper, you know, he was in A Star Is Born. Hey,
would you?
just want to
if
get a
Al
look at you, John. I got to say, when
know-
you did your Bradley Cooper impression, you did the window. You're like, "Zzz, dunk." I was impressed with the dunk because that's like the
liked
best
the
part
sound
about
effects.
rolling a window down.
I did grow up listening to Prairie Home Companion. You know, they got that sound effects guy,
What
Tom
an,
Keith or whatever.
What an amazing job! That guy is incredible.
Yeah, he's sick. Gary, what's the guy's name? What's the old geezer name?
Gary Shandling.
No, not Gary.
Just
Prairie Home
kidding.
Companion. What's the guy?
Garrison
Keillor. R.I.P. Garrison Keillor, boy. They shuffled him out of there quick.
That is messed up. I don't
I don't
think
know
he
this
did
story,
anything.
but
I don't even.
I
I
don't know
heard
the
he didn't
story.
even do anything. But yeah, let's not dwell on it. Point is, no, John, I really don't want to play Rufus. I don't think I would. I could see
Would you,
myself
though,
being
if-
in a movie that I directed one day. Once I'm a more comfortable director, most importantly, B, have had a chance to act under other directors more because I've done it some, but I haven't done it a lot. And C, if I have the resources to have a really, really seriously great, beefy team and time. Because if I could like actually take the time to be in it and then stop and watch and like, that's the thing. Like the stuff I've been in, like for instance, I was in a short that I made, and it was fine, but we were always under time crunch, and so I never quite had enough time to like be in the scene and then take a second to get into director mode and then watch the thing on playback and then decide how I feel about it and then be in director mode and then get back into actor mode and remember my lines and all that kind of stuff. You can do it, but it just takes time. And ideally you have an amazing first assistant director or a producer who's kind of directing the movie for you. You know what I mean? I think that's how usually that works. And I just couldn't I couldn't afford the team and the time I would need at this point to make that feasible.
Yeah. The other day I got a hole in my pants, at the knee. Mm-hmm. So I just, I took some scissors and I chopped the legs off at the knee.
Oh, good idea.
Then I put them on and I was in some shorts I made.
I like that, John. Ooh, that's a good one. That is a good one. Cool, John. Well, this I didn't even think I didn't even think to talk about music because I was mostly just bumming about Mystery Actor Man. But you know what? It's a good music episode, John.
Yeah, real quick, give me your top two movie soundtracks.
Oh, wow.
Make it 3.
Do you have any? Because I got to think.
Yeah, I got 2 off the top of my head that are
Okay.
great. The Pulp Fiction soundtrack is
Oh,
excellent.
heavens. So good.
Jungle Boogie. I mean, there's so many great songs, and
So
the
good.
interstitial. They have like little interstitials from the movie. They're
Yep.
great. That's a good one, and the Dazed and Confused soundtrack is good, especially if you
Great
like classic
soundtrack.
rock.
Yep, I'm a big classic rock fan. That's a great soundtrack. You know what's a really good one, John? The Royal Tenenbaums.
Oh, yeah.
Excellent.
Great soundtracks.
Excellent. I mean, basically all of Wes Anderson's movies have impeccable soundtracks.
Yeah.
He's got great taste. Goodfellas. Amazing soundtrack. Really incredible soundtrack. I'm trying to think of a third.
I feel the same way, though. You know, I really enjoy those Martin Scorsese movies, like Raging Bull. We've talked about it a little bit.
Raging Bull's
really
incredible.
It's an incredible movie, but you know, I just don't. I'm getting older. I'm getting softer. I don't want to go back and watch those. I don't want to watch Robert De Niro beat up his wife.
They're so intense, man.
It's too much.
I know.
It's too real.
Yeah, I've been meaning to watch The King of Comedy, but I just I feel like I gotta kind of psych myself up for it.
You know, the guy, he's in one of the movies, I guess he's in that, Robert De Niro. Is it Robert De Niro in, no. Jack Nicholson in The Departed. You know, his character in The Departed.
Yeah. Yep.
He's supposed to play a guy who just got killed recently named Whitey Bulger. Did you hear about all this?
He just got but tell the audience in case they don't know. That's a crazy story.
Yeah, he was like a dude in Boston who was, you know, involved in...
Oh, wait. The Departed's about Whitey Bulger?
I mean, loosely based on, but yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Character based on, supposedly. Yeah, so Whitey Bulger was a mobster. He operated for a long time, and he had a lot of ties to the FBI. He rose to power by ratting out all the other mafia guys. And it's long been claimed that there were tons of like corrupt FBI guys working with him. Somebody tipped him off to the fact that he would be indicted, so he and his wife fled. Because he was on the run for a while.
Oh, okay, got it. Yeah.
Yeah, he and his wife fled because they got tipped off by some corrupt FBI guys that they were going to be indicted. And he was a bad guy, like killed tons of people. Very, very bad guy.
Not like a fun, not like a cool fun mob guy, like an actual scary, horrible person.
Yeah, not a great guy. So he and his wife fled to Southern California, where later the FBI caught up to them and apprehended them, and they sent him to jail, and they were kind of shuffling him around at jail. It kind of sounds like they wanted him to get killed. So anyway, I guess
probably
a few
because
days
they
ago,
know that his ties are so deep that like he's just going to set up a little kingdom in there, you know?
It seems like they're more worried about him ratting on FBI people, you know?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder if Jeff Sessions was on his payroll ever. No, I'm just kidding. I guess he comes straight from Alabama.
Yeah, no, he was too busy like sicking dogs on civil rights protesters.
Yowza!
Hey.
Man,
I don't actually know that. He's probably a nice guy.
I really doubt.
No,
it.
he's not.
No,
he's the guy
not
that said.
A nice guy. You don't have
Jeff
to
Sessions. Jeff
He's
Sessions
a bad dude.
On the record saying, I don't know if he's good or bad, but he did say at one point that he was in favor of the KKK until he found out they smoked dope.
Oh my gosh, that's on the record?
Yeah.
That's not even a funny joke.
It's not good.
That guy is running our entire Justice Department.
Yeah. So anyway, Whitey Bulger, they got him, and he was in a wheelchair. He's in prison, and apparently a Greek guy in the mafia, a Greek hitman, gouged his eyes out or tried to gouge his eyes out and cut his tongue out, and they stabbed him a bunch, and now he's dead.
Whoa.
Bummer.
That sounds brutal.
Live by the sword, die by the sword. But they had all these news clips. I heard him on a podcast. There were all these people, because he was a bad guy, you know? So all these people in Boston were like, I'm glad Whitey's dead. I'm glad they killed Whitey. I would have killed Whitey myself if I could have.
I bet they mean it, too.
Yeah. Kill Whitey.
All right, closing thought. One of the greatest SNL sketches of all time is Casey Affleck at Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh,
yeah. We'll link to it. It's so good. What does he say? Oh, man. I'm not even going to try to do it. Just go look it up. Casey Affleck, Dunkin' Donuts, SNL. Just go do it.
That is a real type of person. That person doesn't really exist down here, but every time I go up to Jersey, man, you run into these people.
I know, man. I know them too, even from Baltimore. But yeah, all my like New England friends, like Tim Mela, you know, he's from sort of outside Boston-ish.
He is, but he's a classy guy.
He's a really classy dude, but he was like, I know those guys, For
Oh,
real.
for sure, yeah.
Also, it's always Dunkin' Donuts. There's no, like, today I went and got a donut at Yum Yum Donuts. Yum Yum Donuts is like a
What's the Yum Yums?
Yum Yum is like a local-ish chain. And
word.
that's one nice thing about LA is there's, well, we talked about donuts, but there's non-gourmet, high-quality donuts everywhere. You know, there's all these Asian people usually, and they open these donut shops, and they actually make good donuts. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they're chains, sometimes they're not. Sometimes they sell like teriyaki chicken out, next to the donut. Sometimes they sell usually lotto tickets. But basically, you don't have to go to Dunkin' Donuts. When you're in the Northeast, you got Dunkin' Donuts. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is a bummer because Dunkin' Donuts, not a great donut. I'm just gonna
go up into Canada. You get a Tim Hortons.
Oh.
You ever have a Tim Hortons?
No, is it good?
You get a crawler at Tim Hortons? Oh, they're good.
Sounds good. All right, John, well, let's wrap it up. We're going to do another episode. We're going to be releasing an episode on Friday as well. This one will come out on Tuesday. We're going to release an episode on Friday. Oh, John, today's my birthday.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
Seriously?
As of this recording, yep. So by the time people hear this episode, it'll be a couple days past. You forgot.
I never knew. I couldn't forget. I had no idea.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's your responsibility.
How are you supposed to know that kind of stuff?
People are on Facebook.
Not I, but
me neither.
How else?
I think you have to have a calendar.
Okay.
You write it down on the calendar. John's birthday.
I know 5 birthdays. I know my family, like my spouse and kids, and my own and my sister-in-law because it's the same as mine.
Which is, let me guess, December 27th.
Nailed it.
Booyah!
Yeah, but you only knew that because you know my sister-in-law. Give me a break.
I know both.
Unbelievable. I don't know my mom's birthday. I don't know I guess I know my dad's somewhere in October.
Yeah. Well, you missed it. It's November now. Okay.
Nuts.
We'll talk soon.
Well, wait. Happy B-Day.
Hey,
what are you going to do? And how old are you?
I'm 29.
Oh, you better go before you're 30, my dude. You got to make a movie before you're 30.
I know. John, don't put pressure on me. No, you know what? I'm actually kind of not at all worried about my 30s. I'm pumped about my 30s. I feel like I didn't spend too much of my 20s putzing around with my thumb up my butt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of like, all right, I feel like I've kind of been paying my dues for a minute. I'm kind of ready to like be a real grown up now, you know? Does that make sense? It doesn't mean everything's going to get easy. I just kind of feel like I've figured out how to avoid some common life pitfalls that I'm excited to live life with the awareness of those pitfalls.
In the show Ozark, sorry to keep going back to this, but he keeps making analogies like about small business and life, like he refers to his spouse after some like whatever. He's like, we're not husband and wife. We're business partners now. Raising these kids is our job, that kind of thing.
Right.
But
that's a very sad approach, but
it's really sad. But you got to watch the show to find out why. But it strikes me that you go through similar phases as a human. You go from your like growth, your growth stage to your value stage. Like right now, dude, you're going from growth to value.
I don't know what that is.
You're like, you did all the work, you put in the work, you grew fast, and now you're basically like Apple computers. Like, they're not going to grow because they're putting out new products necessarily. They're just going to be like a steady eddy.
I see. See, what I really hope, this is my dream scenario. I hope that I can maybe I'm a little tired. Like right now I'm a little tired. I feel like it's been a long 7 years. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean I've been working really hard.
Sure.
And I'm a little tired, and I feel like I'm going to be extra tired after I make this movie. But I'm also getting to the point where I know how to rest better. And so what I hope is that like I want to keep growing, because like I haven't yet even made my first movie, let alone figured out if I have a career making movies. And so that's going to be exponential growth compared to my 20s, but I do feel like I have spent 10 years or so kind of working towards this, yeah, now I kind of get to see. It's sort of like I've been in grad school. You know, I've kind of been like in med school, and I'm just like, dang, it's kind of a long road, but like I can't really complain either. It's been great. But now I kind of am like, all right, I think I'm about to maybe see what it's actually like to be a doctor for a minute. And I feel like I actually might have some skills, you know, that I didn't used to have.
Sure.
And I'm excited about that. I'm not ready to start coasting though. You know, I don't want to be Apple yet. I want to be Apple in the 80s, you know.
Yeah, well, Apple doesn't want to be Apple. I mean, they want to innovate.
Yeah, although dude, that new iPad, the full screen iPad with no button, it's a lot of screen, baby.
Is it nice?
It's a lot of screen. Yeah. You know, speaking of Apple, well, let's wrap up. We got to do another episode anyway.
Okay, happy B-Day.
Yeah, we'll do it. Okay, I'll see you in a few.
Yo.